Want to talk about one more guy here, and then maybe we'll call it a night. This is radio host Pete Santilli, who is the biggest kind of overreacting guy that I've seen so far. So I've seen lots of, lots of things like we just went over, the two videos here. Pete Santilli seems to be taking the cake when he said that Barack Obama should be executed if they prosecute Trump. If they indict Trump, then Barack Obama should be executed. That's what he said. Right? So and I don't really need to bring that up, but you can look up that quote for yourself if you want to. But he's kind of a nut. Well, actually, you know what? Do I have it here already? I think I might actually have it. Let me see if I have it open. Then yeah, maybe we'll play it. But is this it? No, I don't actually have it open, so that's okay. Well, we're not gonna waste any time searching for that, right? But you can look it up for yourself. So who the hell is Pete Santilli, right? Well, he seems to be a little bit of a small fry when it comes to political pundits, right? Doesn't seem to have much in the way of national attention. He's like a radio host out of the radio show host out of the Midwest, I believe. And his claim to fame is that during 2014 he was part of the Bundy Ranch. Um, you know, Bundy Ranch occupation, right? And so what exactly happened? Well, he was part of a group called the Citizens for Constitutional Freedom, right? Which was later known as the People for Constitutional Freedom. And they were essentially a militia that back in 2014, actually no, sorry, it was in 2016, right? They took over the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge in Oregon from January 2nd to February 11th of 2016. So if you remember that, the Bundy Ranch standoff, you know, where these people basically went and took over this wildlife refuge and kicked all the people out and all that stuff. I actually have some videos of when that happened. I actually was making videos during that time, you know, and they all kind of got away with it. Like Clive Bundy and all those people, they got away with that shit. Nobody went to jail for that, which is kind of amazing. They got arrested finally, but they got off. They were not held accountable for basically. I think this resulted in at least one person getting shot, one person dying. A guy that wouldn't surrender and who was like one of the standoff guys, one of the people in the militia, who was blown away or whatever when he wouldn't surrender to the cops, tried to pull a gun on him, and so they shot him. So at least one person was killed there. But this, for basically a month, these guys just broke into this federal wildlife preserve, kicked everybody out of the offices, just occupied the offices, and with guns. That's the thing. It's was this a peaceful protest? No, it was not a peaceful protest. It was an armed protest. Right? An armed protest is a violent protest. All right. And they basically kicked all of the federal workers out at gunpoint and wouldn't, allow anybody back. And this guy, Pete Santilli, was part of this group. And he was live streaming. He was broadcasting, doing his radio show and stuff, as he was occupying this land. And so he got arrested for that. So who was actually part of this group? Who are the Citizens for Constitutional Freedom, right? So basically, I'm not going to go over this full list, but it was Ammon Bundy, who was the son of Clive Bundy, and then also Ryan C. Bundy, and then a couple of other guys, right? Another guy named Brian D. Cavalier, who was involved in the 2014 Bundy Ranch standoff in Nevada. Um, people who were basically militia types, right? White supremacist stuff like that. Um, these guys, they're what these people are. Sovereign citizens is what they are, right? Another guy named Kenneth Minderbach, who's 62. He was a guy that was like, setting up booby traps and had like a stockpile of explosives and crap like that. So yeah, pretty much, bad dudes. All of these people. And getting back to Pete Santilli, yeah, he was busted for that back in 2016, and he managed to connive a judge into thinking that he was a journalist. And so he got his charges dropped while other people went to prison for that particular thing. He got it dropped because he just said, "Hey, I was a journalist. I was doing my constitutionally protected journalism, right? All this other bullshit." And the judge let him off scot-free for that. Thing is, the guy was not a journalist. He was very much part, a believer, part of the movement there. And a journalist is somebody that actually goes out and investigate things like this. This guy's not a journalist. He's a wannabe shock jock is what he is, right? So that's kind of the first time that he got national attention, was for that. Another time is when Pete Santilli, about 9 years ago, he got a little bit more attention, this time from the Secret Service, when he said that he wanted to shoot Hillary Clinton in her vagina. So I've got a video for this one. Let's go ahead and open this up. This is actually the Young Turks, but I'm going to move it over to when this starts, right around there. Let's turn this on. Let's make that big. Full screen. This is Pete Santilli talking about Hillary Clinton's vagina.
I want to remind you that in Benghazi, Miss Hillary, the freaking biggest vagina on the face of the planet, told troops to stand down and to not go in and interfere with the operation that they set up because they're moving arms. I want to shoot her right in the vagina and just really, I don't want her to die right away. I want her to feel the pain, and I want to look her in the eyes, and I want to say, on behalf of all Americans that you've killed, on behalf of the Navy SEALs, the families of Navy SEAL Team 6 who were involved in the fake hunt down of this Obama bin Laden thing.
I mean, okay, so you get the idea who this guy is, right? Talking about Benghazi, remember that there was something like, I mean, how many fucking congressional hearings do we have on Benghazi? What, a million? Right? And how many times do we have to conclude that Hillary Clinton didn't do anything wrong during fucking Benghazi? Over and over and over. I mean, didn't they have like a fucking 8-hour hearing once or some shit on that? Like multiple fucking 8-hour hearings on Benghazi, right? And then I like this one, how he just says Obama bin Laden thing. It's like not even trying to hold in the fucking racism, not even trying to hold in because you would say oh, if it was a Freudian slip, he just would have corrected himself. It's like, no, he's not trying to correct himself. He said that on purpose. He said Obama bin Laden on purpose. Completely fucking just full of shit there. There's about 10 more seconds of this, so let's listen to it.
That whole fake scenario, because these Navy SEALs know the truth, they killed them all. On behalf of all of those people, I'm supporting our troops by saying we need to...
Oh yeah, and that's also a conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory is how you said fake Obama bin Laden whatever thing, right? The conspiracy theory is that the Navy SEALs who finally caught and executed bin Laden Like, yeah, the conspiracy theory is that that was fake and that Bin Laden is like still alive, or he died years earlier, and so that's why they didn't come back with him. Like, they didn't come back with his body. They didn't capture him or whatever. They just executed him and then like threw him overboard. You know, instead of bringing him back to like face trial or like anything like that. You know, and so the conspiracy theory is like, oh, they just made that up. Excuse me. Like, they didn't really kill Osama bin Laden. No, this is just made up like for propaganda purposes and shit. Which is like, it's also been like what, 6 years or something since then, or actually no, like when did they kill Osama bin Laden? Like what, 2011? So it's been like 20, 10, 12 years since then. It's like, well, how come nobody found bin Laden? How come he hasn't come shown up alive? You know what I mean? Like, if they didn't really kill him that day, like, it's a conspiracy. It's like one of the stupider conspiracy theories. You know what I mean? But that's what this is. That's what this is. And they're saying like, yeah, they killed. The big conspiracy is that the SEAL Team 6 team that killed Bin Laden have all been murdered, which is just like not true. There's no evidence that they've all been killed. But the conspiracy theory is that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama had them all murdered so that they couldn't say the truth that Osama bin Laden was dead for years and years or whatever. Like, he was already dead for a long, long time, or the other, unless it's the other truth that they didn't actually really kill him and he's still alive. It's like, that's the other thing about conspiracy theorists like this, they can't make up their fucking minds. Like, which one is it? Is he dead or is he alive? Right? Like, one or the other. Just focus on, settle on a fucking version, please, so that we can all get our story straight. But it's because conspiracy theories are the dumbest fucking shit ever, and the people who believe in them are fucking stupid as hell. So, moving on here. But yeah, I'm supporting our troops by saying we need to try, convict, and shoot Hillary Clinton. Let's just let him say it. I don't want to say it for him.
To try, convict, and shoot Hillary Clinton in the vagina.
Shoot her in the vagina. So that's one thing that, yeah, he got a little bit of attention for that from the Secret Service. Because the Secret Service doesn't like it when you threaten the wives of ex-presidents, right? Or threaten someone who may be running for president themselves. Secret Service doesn't look kindly on that. So that got him some attention. I'm sure that's not the kind of attention that he wanted. So anyway, this guy, yeah, Pete Santilli seems to be a straight up, raging conspiratard of the highest order. We've seen him so far talking about the, Benghazi conspiracy theory and then the Dead SEAL Team 6 conspiracy theory. A quick look at some of his stuff shows that he's on board with all of the ridiculous things that you see today, such as anti-vax conspiracy theories, He's got the federal agents provoked January 6th conspiracy theory. He seems to really believe in that. Says the Nord Stream pipeline being destroyed was a false flag. Bunch of other crap. I never got the January 6th federal agents thing. I never really understood that one because it's sort of like why would the feds want to provoke the January 6th people into stopping Biden's inauguration? First off, if they wanted to stop Biden's certification of his election, then wouldn't that mean that they were supporting Trump, right? Wouldn't that mean that the feds were on Trump's side if they wanted to stop Biden from becoming president? Doesn't make any sense. Kind of the same way that people think that, the MAGA chuds and the MAGA supporters and the Trump supporters, they say this shit January 6th was caused by Antifa. They bring that conspiracy theory up too, and it's like, well, I thought Antifa were on the Democrat side. I thought the evil, stinking liberal Democrats were using Antifa to I don't know, try to, Antifa super soldiers and shit to try to take over the country. Like, I thought that was what was going on, right? So why would they make, why would they make January 6th a false flag? Like, why would they want people to try to disrupt Joe Biden's inauguration? I mean, because if you're saying that they work for Joe Biden, then why is he trying to stop his own inauguration? It doesn't make any sense. You know, the same thing. It's the same thing with they're all feds. The feds provoked it. It's like, well, why would the feds want to provoke Trump supporters? Like, what? To make them look bad? Like, why? The election was over. Like, you could, I mean, if this happened before the election, you could say some shit like, oh, well, these are Trump supporters and stuff who wanted to, like, or these were, Democrats who were trying to, like, make Trump look bad so that people wouldn't vote for him. But this was, like, months after the election was done. The election was over. It was already decided, and there was nothing that they could do to stop, like, nothing Trump could do to stop from losing power. So why would Joe Biden, like, what possible motive would he have in getting, like, political operatives, right? Because that's what they would have to be. Like, what possible motive would he have to enlist political operatives in order to disrupt his own inauguration? It doesn't make any sense. There's no benefit to him. Like, what? What's the other benefit? What, to make Trump people look bad? Like, well, you don't fucking have to, like, cause a riot and destroy democracy to make Trump people look bad, right? All you got to do is put a microphone in front of them and let them talk, and they'll fucking humiliate themselves, right? Like, so that's it. Just has no basis in not. I mean, obviously this shit isn't real, but it just doesn't make any sense in the first place. Like, usually when it comes to conspiracy theories, you can at least get some kind of plausible motive out of it. When it comes to conspiracy theories, you can at least, for example, well, why are they hiding? Like, let's take Roswell. That's a very famous conspiracy theory. UFO crash at Roswell, and you go, well, why would they hide Roswell? Well, it makes perfect sense because they don't want to freak people out. Because lots of reasons why they would hide a possible UFO crash. You would say, well, they want to hide whatever technology they're getting from it. Right. They don't want the general public to know because the general public would freak out and there'd be cause major fucking upsets all over the world and shit. If they knew there were aliens out there and they knew there was nothing we could do about them and that they were abducting people and shit like that, XYZ. So there's all kinds of different reasons, maybe they didn't want the Russians to know, all kinds of reasons why you would hide something like that. It becomes plausible, right? The problem with January 6th is that there's no plausible reason why it should happen. There's no motive. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't benefit anybody but Donald Trump. So that's when you can kind of tell it's like all it is just bullshit cope. These fucking conservatives coping, right? Who are just butthurt over the fact that they lost and are trying to come up with any kind of dumbass fucking, like, excuse they can to blame it on their opposition, right? And it's testament to the fact that people still are saying this shit. People are still trying to pass these ridiculous dumbass fucking conspiracy theories when it comes to protecting, solely in the interest of protecting Donald Trump. I don't know, folks. I really hope next week rolls around and, in one of these four cases, is like what I'm saying, that these four cases here that we have against him, let's repeat them one last time. We have the Stormy Daniels hush money case. We have the fucking Georgia perfect phone call case, right? We have January 6th. And we have the, walking home with top secret documents case. And all four of those, these are the big legal troubles that Donald Trump is facing, right? And in all four of those, they have all the evidence they need to throw his ass in fucking prison, right? If any of us were involved in things like that, we would already be in jail. But they didn't do it to Donald Trump because Donald Trump is unique. Donald Trump is an ex-president. You know, he's rich, he's famous, he's a billionaire, he's an ex-president, and he's the forerunner to get the Republican nomination again. And this is why he's walking around a free man right now. And I really hope, even now, like, there's just the rumor that he might be indicted. That's all this was for this whole last week. All it was a rumor that he might be indicted. And yeah, it looks like they're probably going to do it. They were setting up barricades. It looks like they got really close to doing it and then chickened out for some fucking reason. I mean, for really good reasons, probably. Right? They probably didn't do it for really good reasons because it's a major fucking thing. It's going to disrupt everyone. Everyone involved is putting their life on the line. So no, it's not like they're not for dumb reasons why this shit got delayed. And I can fully understand. I can fully understand anybody not wanting to put themselves and their families through the political firestorm which will result in him being indicted, right? But that's what this country needs. This country needs Donald Trump to be held accountable, right? We need to send that signal, right? That signal needs to be sent not just for the crimes he's committed, right? Which we know he committed, that we have evidence that he committed, but for all the other politicians out there who are getting away with it on a daily fucking basis, Joe Manchin, Matt Gaetz, Nancy Pelosi, right? Everybody else who's breaking the law, flaunting the rules, right? And using their positions of power to personally enrich themselves and smite their enemies, right? All of those people need to be held accountable. So, so yeah, let's do what Michael Knowles said, right? Let's bust 5 of them. Let's bust 10 of them. Let's bust all of them. Every single one, Republican, Democrat, all of them, right? Let's sweep them all out. That's what our country really fucking needs, folks. But I think I would just be happy with Donald Trump to start with. That would be a good thing. Hello, folks. If you like what I do and you want to support the channel, please consider buying something from my Etsy shop, supporting me on Patreon, liking and subscribing, and checking me out across my social media links listed below. Thank you all so much, and see you next time.